suppose. Get next. They've been, right? Just put it on mute, baby.
Hey, Linda, good evening.
How are you?
I'm all right, thanks.
Staying healthy out there?
Yeah, we're trying. Trying our best. It's not easy.
I know, right?
Hey, Linda, how are you?
Good, Brian, how's it going?
Good.
Recording How is everyone today? Everyone's just sitting here so solemn.
How are you, Susan? Doing good.
Good. Diane just messaged and said she might be a couple minutes late, but she'll be here.
Beer balls up once, you know?
Look
Well, I don't
It's only gonna be 12 degrees tomorrow, so why should we be happy?
We should be happy that it was 40 today, that's what.
Yeah, well, that's a good way of looking at it.
It was a beautiful day today.
Nice.
It was, I actually had to bring out sunglasses. I was driving. I was like, wow,
I forgot what the sun looked like,
I know, right?
right? I did have to get my sunglasses out today too.
Talk about the wide swing of changing weather. I'm down in Norwood and it says it's showing a 40-degree forecast for tomorrow. Now a low of 2, but still a high of 40.
Oh,
wave.
Yeah.
yeah, nice.
But Saturday is we have a 16-degree day. So that's for us.
Yeah.
Maybe it's just slowly moving down.
So Brian, I'm gonna put you on high alert today. All day long, I've been getting knocked off of Zoom calls and having a poor network quality error message on my computer.
Yep. No
And
problem. Do you want
of
to co-host me in case you get dumped out?
Yeah, I'm assuming this is all because my IT husband just bought a new modem yesterday. He brought it home and he says, well, I figured, the other one is a couple years old now. I was like, I texted him today. I said, thanks, you just jinxed me. Because now the new one is sitting downstairs. It's not installed and I'm having network issues.
Oh, God.
No problem.
And today's an important day. You cannot have network issues, Linda.
It's the most frustrating thing ever. It was, I don't know if it was just Teams. I only had Teams meetings today, so I don't know if it was just that, but I'm seeing my camera is doing black and white today, so I'm not sure what's
Yes.
going on.
I thought you were looking a little pale.
I know I'm Scandinavian, but that's a little ridiculous.
I know Stacy will be here.
Yeah, we're over the quorum mark, but I think maybe we give folks 1 or 2 minutes to get here.
Yeah, and DK did just message saying she'll just be a couple minutes late, so we'll wait today. It's only 5:31.
If we get, oh, there's Carl.
Yep. Mhm.
We've just got Stacy and Diane left.
And Diane. And we have someone named Paul. Who is Paul? I'm not sure who that is. If they can identify themselves. Nope, I guess not.
Yeah, we've got quite a few, I think additional public today.
Yes. We do have public participation.
Yes. Very cool.
Okay. We'll wait a couple more minutes for Diane and Stacy. There's Stacy.
Finally,
DK is the late one now.
the one who sent out the warning that we all need to be there.
Yes, yes, she did warn us all.
Because like she really scares me.
All right, I suppose we could get started just with the housekeeping business and getting the meeting started. If everyone is in agreement, not waiting for DK. I take that as a yes. Okay. Okay, and we are recording. Very good. Okay. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Revere. Oh, there's a lot of feedback. I think it's coming from, if everyone could mute, please. Jean, thank you, Jean. Okay. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Revere High School Building Committee meeting number 27. Today is a Thursday, January 13th, 2022, and the time is 5:34 p.m. Can we have a roll call of the voting members, Linda?
Absolutely. We're going to start from the top as usual with Mike Picardi,
Present.
Mayor Arrigo,
Here.
Stacy Rizzo,
Present.
Susan Gravellisi.
Here.
I don't see Dr. Kelly yet. I gotta go to a two-screen version here now. Carl Svensson,
Here.
John Corella,
Yes.
Jennifer Hayes,
Here.
Rich Viscay,
Here.
Don Ciramella,
Here.
Nick Reister,
Here.
Jerry Visconti,
Here.
and Patrick Keefe.
Here.
Excellent. We are seemingly getting a lot of feedback today, so if everybody can stay on mute, that would be fantastic. We will start with some housekeeping of voting through the minutes from last week's meeting, actually. So meeting minutes from the January 6th meeting.
Motion to approve?
Second.
Excellent, thank you. And we will do a roll call from Mike Picardi,
Yes.
Mayor Arrigo,
Yes.
Stacy Rizzo,
Yes.
Susan Gravellisi.
Yes.
I see Dr. Kelly has arrived at 5:37. Dr. Kelly, if you're able to give us your vote for passing the meeting minutes from the January 6th meeting.
Yes.
Thank you. Carl Svensson,
Yes.
John Corella,
Yes.
Jennifer Hayes,
Yes.
Rich Viscay,
Yes.
Don Ciramella,
Yes.
Nick Rystrom,
Yes.
Jerry Visconti,
Yes.
Patrick Keefe.
Yes.
Excellent. That is all the housekeeping items we had for this week, so I'm going to turn it over to Brian.
Thank you, Linda. So I'm going to just quickly put the agenda on the screen for tonight's meeting. While we don't have a ton of ground to cover, we obviously have a pretty big decision. It's the culmination of the last year plus of meetings. So agenda item 3 real quick. I'm not positive if everyone was able to watch Monday's city council meeting. We don't necessarily need to go through it blow by blow. I thought it went well. We got some good questions. I think all the options this committee is still considering are on the table. but I wanted to just give anyone a chance to bring up anything, any questions or any comments from that meeting before we move on to final options, public comment, and then a motion to recommend approval of a preferred option. So any questions, comments anyone want from Monday's city council meeting?
Brian, I'll just say that I thought it was a great presentation, that you and Bob did a tremendous job. And I feel like that was evident in the really great questions that the city councilors asked, that I think helped further the thinking and help everybody understand all of the process that we've all gone through and the thinking that we've put into coming down to these three final options. So I thank you for that. And I thank the city councilors for their input.
Appreciate it. Sounds good. If there are no other comments or questions on that, really the next agenda item is pretty much the same. We've gone through the presentation with you folks a number of times. That presentation's made its way around. We have the slides. We can bring them up if anyone has any specific questions about any of the options or anything sort of is unresolved in your mind, but we weren't going to run back through all the slides. So I'll take a pause now to see if anyone on the building committee wants to revisit any of the slides or topics that we've discussed in the last number of meetings.
Brian,
Yes.
Jerry Visconti. I too want to thank you for both of you for the presentation. It went well, and you did a great job up there. So I want to say thank you first and foremost. I know one of the concerns or one of the things that were mentioned by some of the city councilors regarding the different sites. If we are going to, let's hypothetically say right now, let's say Wonderland is picked. Let's just use that one. At that time, I know there was some mention of maybe scaling back the fields, okay, and which is something of some kind of concern. We're not making a decision on that either right now, right? We're just making the decision is based on just the site. Correct me if I'm wrong. Is that correct?
It is correct. I might modify though how I would word it a little bit is we're asking the committee to pick the site and to pick the preferred option, and that's sort of the terminology the Mass School Building Authority wants to hear on any of the picks. It doesn't mean that in the coming months and through schematic design through this summer that we couldn't make changes to the site, to field scope, et cetera. So right now, the numbers we've put in front of the committee, the designs include the fields down there.
Okay.
If Wonderland is the choice, then it's something that this committee can further investigate. I know we can put together some information on how much space those fields take up. I know the school and some other folks could put together some opinions on why some people want them to be co-located with the high school. So I think if Wonderland is the way we go, probably as soon as the next meeting, which we're going to propose for 2 weeks from now, we dig into that topic. But that specifically, not making that decision
No,
tonight.
we're not making any of that.
Correct.
Great, thank you.
I saw Stacy's hand up.
Yes, thank you, Brian. Again, I want to reiterate, it was a great presentation the other night. You know, sometimes people might think it's lengthy, but there was a lot of valuable information in the presentation. And one thing came up, and not that it changes my mind one way or the other. Dom Trammell had mentioned something about, even though we might have to do culvert work, if it was at the present site, that some work may have to be done if it was at the Wonderland site. If you or Dawn can explain that a little bit more, I'm kind of confused.
I'll defer to Dawn on the details, but we do know that there is a drainage culvert and underground line that it's not really actually underground for most of it at Wonderland. we do have the budget and the scope plugged to deal with that. It's a lot less of a length, and we wouldn't need to really change its path. But it is included in what we know about sort of underground baggage at Wonderland. And either way, either one of those sites, we're going to have to deal with water and which direction it's going. But we feel it's a lesser challenge at Wonderland than it is at the existing site.
Awesome, thank you.
You're welcome. I'm just looking around for other hands. Patrick?
Thank you. It's funny, I've done 1,000 of these. I don't know where I'm putting raise hand on this screen. I don't know if it's just me. But I haven't been on a school building authority. I haven't really been on many of the city's building committees. So this is my first experience. It's obviously been really well put together. But you know, we're kind of at the point where we're making a pretty drastic decision, or big decision tonight, and it's worthy of that because there's been a lot of work put in. So I don't want to press my opinions on anybody, but I think after this amount of time, I thought it was important to just kind of share my point of view on what I've experienced, and also, you know, probably the direction I would want to head this evening. When we came into this building a school, you know, I can go 2 years back, talking to the mayor or talking to some other, you know, friends in the city and saying, you know, we're kind of land poor. You know, getting a property like Wonderland as a pipe dream, taking over something at Suffolk Downs as a pipe dream. We really can't do things like that. And it's going to end up being current site, flip the site and work within the confines of that. The last, you know, 27 meetings or so, we've gone through all of the decisions and scenarios, and you know, to be able to come out on the other side and realize that, you know, sure, there's going to be a few more hurdles, but it is feasible, and that's what we're doing here. You're doing a feasibility study that the Wonderland site could actually be feasible. So, you know, I weighed all the pros and cons on all the many scenarios, but most recently the 3 options in front of us, and you know, the only con I could really come up with outside of current site was the current accessibility, and I say current because there are some plans in play to make it more accessible. It's slightly less accessible from a walkability standpoint. Other than that, it's central to the city. Wonderland is from an artist standpoint, it's a clean canvas. It will create zero disruption to the current learning environment. And we know that that's been a big problem, obviously, with what's going on in the world right now, but it'll be a huge problem a few years from now when people start breaking ground. It'll give ability and control over the current site for future growth in the city. As a city, we just grew 20% over the last 10 years. And it's just, to me, it's really a no-brainer. So, and you know, as we go down after site selection, yeah, there's an opportunity to potentially salvage the current fields that possibly, or at least have use of those. You know, the baseball field was just redone just a few years ago. So those are some soft costs I think you'll find some savings in. But the overall disruption, I believe, in using the current site, not just to the learning environment, but to the entire neighborhood. You know, you're talking about parking cars on Ambrose Park. You're talking about jamming a lot of work into one small space. I find that after this much time, that Wonderland is really to have that as an option, I think is huge. So I'll be one of those people that'll be championing that tonight, and then hopefully moving forward.
Well,
Thank
as
you.
long as Patrick has shared, I wouldn't mind sharing myself. And I actually think that it might be a good idea to go around and ask everybody to share before we take the vote, because I think that we all have different insights on this. We come to this work from different perspectives, and I think it could be helpful to hear what each of the committee members is thinking, as it might actually influence our ultimate vote. So I'll say that it has been my honor and my privilege to work in the Revere Public Schools for the last 27 years. I really am very proud of the work that we've done as a district, and I'm very proud of the opportunity that I've had to be a part of the growth that we've seen in the school department. But when I think about where we're all going to be 20, 25, 30 years from now, I'm still a Dorchester girl, and I'm from the city of Boston. And this is not about my legacy, where this building goes or what this turns out to be. 50 years from now, people are going to be talking about who was the mayor and who were the city councilors and who was on the school committee. They're not going to care who the superintendent was. And we see that truth in the current high school, where people talk all the time about who the elected officials were when the high school at 101 School Street was built, and whether or not criminal action should have been taken when they look at how that building is today. And so that legacy really rests with all of the elected officials that are on this call and the others who weren't able to make it here tonight. But if you would like my input as an educational professional, because I do think that adds some value. And I think I know a little bit about what kids and staff need. I too am in support of the Wonderland site, because I can't imagine what the learning environment on the existing site is going to be like for the next 5 to 8 years if we were trying to build a new building on the same place where the current building exists. And as I've said many times, if we really think down the road of what's happening in Revere and in the Revere Public Schools, we're seeing nothing but growth. And I do think that it'll leave the city in a deficit position if we don't have the existing high school building and that land available for repurposing as a central middle school in order to alleviate the overcrowding that we have in our elementary schools and in our middle schools as well. So I guess I'll stop there and pass it to the next person.
Okay, I'm a teacher at the high school. This is my 11th year, and I have to say I'm also leaning towards Wonderland because the disruption with COVID as of right now is just crazy. I cannot even imagine another 8 years with construction and how that's impacting students and teachers alike. One con is I know a lot of my students walk here and they are able to then walk to the middle or elementary schools to pick up their siblings. So I'm not sure how that would work really for the Wonderland, but again, we can probably figure that out. But yeah, I don't know if I could handle another 8 years of disruption or the kids. So I'm leaning towards Wonderland.
If I could speak quickly, I would like to obviously agree with all those statements from Dr. Kelly and elected official Keith and Ms. Hayes, specifically because of the disruption that will take place. And if I may have shared the story before, I apologize, but when I was working at Medford High School, we had a lab renovation, which was really a small, relatively small construction, and it was a devastating disruption to the school and to the community. And that was at a site that was very secluded, so it wasn't even in an urban area or a congested area. And we had, between fire alarms going off daily and disruptions to learning and transportation, it had a real impact on a few years over there. So I can't imagine what it would be like at Revere High School. And also, just want to remind everyone that this is the biggest investment a city can make is a school. So I think we should go big and think big. So I would put my vote toward Wonderland.
Hi, this is Stacy. I had my hand up, but I figured if everyone else is going to have their 2 minutes, I will too. You know, at the beginning, I kept thinking how I wanted it centrally located. And then as we moved on and Wonderland was brought up, I looked at the city as a whole and was comfortable knowing that from each part of the city, there's a bus route that goes right to Wonderland. But first I had to look at it. This is going to be the largest development that Revere is going to see for at least the next 50 years. And we need to do it right. We need to make this building sustainable. We need to make it adaptable. And when we're talking about the current site, we're already not, we're not able to adapt it as much as we can on the Wonderland site. I also look at the fact that we started this whole project not according to a site, but by the educational plans and what our city, our students deserve. So I'm proud of the fact that most of our decisions have put the students' needs first than the site. And then I look at the traffic. So many people keep saying, oh, the traffic down Wonderland, the traffic down Wonderland. Let's remember though, Wonderland is not a neighborhood. At this current site, look at what this neighborhood has already taken in. I know people that have lived there for over 40 years. They dealt with the first high school. They deal with the daily traffic of the high school, of RMA, and then forget COVID the last 2 years. If anyone has gone down East Mountain, School Street in the past month, these neighbors do not deserve what they've been getting. And then to have to put up for the next 8 years with the construction, although they're not my first thought, they're definitely my thought, and I think they've had enough of it also. I just think Wonderland is going to solve so many things. I just can't see it going to the site that we have now. Thank you.
Hi, if I may, this is Nick Rystrom. A lot of good points I've heard tonight. I think, just from a strictly engineering standpoint, there are pros and cons to both sites. Obviously, there's going to be some work that's going to need to happen to the infrastructure that exists in both cases, although slightly different in each case. But what I would like to point out is the difference between how construction would be able to occur on the Wonderland site versus how it would be able to occur on the existing school site. Just the shape of the existing lot and the congestion that exists there already, in my eyes, is a big negative compared to the wide open kind of blank canvas that you have at Wonderland. Wonderland's obviously something that's going to be need some work infrastructure wise, but it would be something that's much easier to implement than the location of the existing school. Some of the other things that I also would agree with is the apparent significant disruption that you'd have at the existing site. I think most notably what I took away was the possibility of some of the sports programs missing years, in addition to just, existing during years of construction. So, I think that the Wonderland site, in my opinion, is a better choice, and that's where I'm leaning towards.
I guess I'll put my 2 cents in now. I don't see any other hands raised. First, I have to say I do agree with all of my fellow building committee members that have spoken before me. We actually started this project with the meetings in January of 2020, pre-COVID, with the building committee community meetings. So if you had asked me throughout the whole process as we were narrowing it down, back a year or so ago, Wonderland probably would not have been my first choice. But now that it's gotten down to the 2 sites and the real nitty gritty of what is actually involved and what's going to be going on, and the disruption to educational learning and fields and physical education program, that, I just want to say, since we have all that information, and the disruption to the parking and taking Ambrose Park, like all those different factors have led me to be in favor of the Wonderland as the preferred site. So my 2 cents.
If I could just say a quick couple of words. First of all, thank you to all of you for the tremendous work that we've done to this point. This project, and I know I've said this a whole bunch when we were starting off, this project is exactly what Dr. Kelly said it is, which is a legacy project. This is something that is going to be the largest investment that we make as a city, probably ever. And to be able to be part of this process that has, taken so many twists and turns has been really just an amazing opportunity. And the work and the questions and the expertise that has been provided by all of you and with all of you has really been, it makes me be proud to be in this city and in this position. And if you were to ask me like 2 years ago, I would have said that Wonderland was the last place I wanted this building to go. We often talk about highest and best use and what that looks like. And walking into this office 6 years ago, the first thing that we wanted to do was try to find a way to tear down the Wonderland dog track and get it redeveloped. And we wanted the highest and best use for that site. And so at this point, I can't think of a higher or better use than a state-of-the-art legacy high school for generations of our children to be able to go through and take advantage of the great work that gets done in our school district. And so I just want to thank everybody for their tremendous work. There is a lot more work to be done. I think as we look at this site, there are some really interesting and innovative things that can be done to mitigate some of the challenges around walkability and access. I know that we have the best team, best team in the state, definitely, maybe the best team in the country to really tackle what could be a real challenge. But I am in favor of Wonderland. I've always said that is a crown jewel of our community. That site is it doesn't look like it, but 15 to 20,000 people, maybe 10 nowadays, drive by that site every day. And I can't think of a better thing for them to look at than a beautiful new high school. So I will shut up now. One other point that I do want to make, Dr. Kelly made a comment that nobody's going to remember who the superintendent was, and I have to vehemently disagree with that. We would not be here without her work and her team. So thank you, Dr. Kelly.
You're here.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I see Rich Fiskey's hand up. I do see some other hands. We're going to go, after we go around the committee, go right into public comment. I know Councilor Morbido has his hand up. I'm just going to try to finish going through the building committee first. Rich, I see your hand up.
Thank you, Brian. I don't want to repeat what everybody said, but I think through the process, again, I was very skeptical of the Wonderland site. Of course, a loss of revenue is concerning to me with regard to just the overall revenue that we're going to need to pay for the debt service eventually. But I think that, as a resident, we've been talking about Wonderland development for years. It still sits there. vacant, and I think what better way to kind of spawn the development over there than to place the high school there, which may then in turn get some quicker development on the other part of that lot, which will help fund not only the high school, but the land acquisition costs. I think we all know at least in my perspective, the logistics of the site isn't perfect, and I think we're gonna have to really do some serious traffic engineering studies on, how to get students back and forth to school safely. The loss of revenue, I think we can account for that, and trust me, I've been working behind the scenes to really try to do some forecasting to build out some models to prove that we're gonna be able to afford this school at the upwards of $400 million price tag. But aside from the land acquisition costs and that loss of revenue and logistics, I think it makes a lot of sense to try to get that land developed and certainly have the capacity to have a nice lay down area and not disrupt those residents of East Mountain Ave and surrounding areas. I do think there's some validity in trying to maintain that site for a middle school campus. And I also don't want to discount the idea that we may be able to generate some additional lost revenue potentially by developing along the highway there where the current soccer field sits. But we're gonna have a lot of work to do, but I'm gonna get behind the Wonderland site. Thank you.
Thank you, Rich. I think I saw Mike Picardi's hand go up next, then we'll go to Jerry.
Thanks, Brian. Just not to say ditto to everyone's else's responses already, but I also am leaning towards Wonderland. I was very much a proponent of the Revere High Ericola Park for a long time, and probably the last couple months have drawn me to Wonderland. The whole blank slate and keeping the Revere High School for a possible middle school in the future, being how we have no land available now. We're going to have to need another school come in 5-6 years after the high school is built. So we should keep that land. The traffic's going to be there no matter what. And why not have more traffic for a school rather than another development that's going to be there? I look forward to this project. It's going to be a beautiful project when we drive by it every day. So that's my 2 cents.
Thank you, Mike. Jerry?
Thank you, Brian. I too want to thank everyone that has participated up to this point. It's been where it's only the beginning stages. We've been into this for well over a year and a half almost, and a lot of work has gone into it up to this point. So thank you for everybody who has participated. I drove by the site, the Wonderland site the other day, and you see it torn down, and it's such a clean slate right now. And you look at it, and I was looking at it and just saying, wow, imagining a high school there. And, you have people on this committee saying, it's a legacy development, and it's a go big or go home. And I kind of agree with that, and hope that the building committee, along with everyone else that's involved in this, make sure that this gets done correctly, because it's obviously a 40-year, 50-year building that we're gonna, well, at least I know I'm not gonna probably see it for that long. So I look at it like I want it to be something that we're all proud of, and make it look like a campus atmosphere. So I don't want it to be short-sighted by any stretch of the imagination. I'm leaning towards, while it wasn't my first selection, I am leaning towards Wonderland as well. But in doing so, I want my intentions, if we're gonna pay that amount of money, I want it done right, and fields, and make it something that Revere should be proud of, and not look, we'll leave how it's going to be paid up to Rich Viscay, right? He can, I'm sure he's working on that. And I have the utmost confidence in him and how that's going to get done. So I don't want it to be short-sighted and just put a school there and skimp on everything else. I'm looking, like Dr. Perella said, go big or go home. And I like going big. I not looking to spend all the money, but we're spending it anyway. It's a $400 million project, one way or another. So, that's my feelings on it. Ericola Park and that piece. It's just the disruption that it would cause. Our kids have gone through a lot already. We don't need to continue that with this construction site being done over there. So, like I said, I'll shut up now, and I'm looking forward to supporting the Wonderland site. Thank you.
Thank you, Jerry. I think we've almost gone around the committee. On Carl and Dawn, if you guys had any, Dawn, I see your hand up. You want to go ahead, then we'll move along to some public comment.
To answer Stacy Rizzo's question, so there are challenges with drainage. We don't want to put this much money into a project where we're going to have drainage issues. I mean, we are a coastal community, so there are challenges. But to speak to Brian's answer, they are a little bit more. Is a problem that we can tackle a little easier than the existing site, but there is a challenge with drainage. There's a challenge with drainage because that site drains into an open ditch. So effectively, if that ditch was to come clogged with Phragmite or what have you, or if there was a high tide at the tide gate, there's still going to be a problem with trying to evacuate that site of its stormwater. So, it's not just addressing that site; it's addressing downstream of that site where it discharges into the Atlantic Ocean. So, there's a challenge on the city's part to make sure that the infrastructure that site will be connected to will always work, and that can't fail, because if it does, we're just going to have an issue in a very expensive project. So there's going to be a commitment with the city of Revere to make sure that where that site is draining to works properly all the time. But there are challenges still. That's it. But I think it's I obviously in the meeting the other night, I thought it was the best choice. Thank you.
Thank you, Don. I lost Carl on my screen. Carl.
Oh, I'm here. Can
Okay.
you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay. I just want to say that we knew we were going to have challenges on either site since this project kicked off. And one thing I'll say is we got a great team. And even a guy like Donnie Charamello, we'd be hard pressed to even look at the challenges without a guy like that on our team. And we have him now. And one of my biggest questions before leaning towards a Wonderland site was, can we afford it? And can we find a way to pay for it? It was a pipe dream if we can afford it. And we never knew what the cost was or, what the assessment was. And it could have been an outrageous number, or it could have been something we could afford. But I have faith in my friend Rick Viscay and this team that we can do it, and that we can find a way to get it done and make an amazing project with, thank you to Brian and Perkins Eastman and all of his team, because they've done an amazing job. We came into this with, some questions on both sites, and even though housing sites saying, how are we going to do this? How are we going to pay for it? And what's it going to look like? And I think with, everybody working together, we came up with the answers to those tough questions. And I'm looking forward to the challenges that we're going to face in the future.
Thank you, Carl. And Thank you, everyone. Have I missed anyone on the building committee? Or does anyone have anything else to add before we move along to some public comment? If not, I think we move it along. Council Morbido, I know you've had your hand up for a bit. Apologies.
No problem. First, I want to thank the school building committee for all your due process. I appreciate it. Thank you to the school committee for making sure our school system's at a top tier always. I just want to voice my concerns about the Wonderland site. Being a resident who grew up in that neighborhood, I'm very familiar with the traffic flow, very familiar with the area. Here are some of my concerns about the Wonderland site. I'm concerned about public safety. I'm concerned about walkability. I'm concerned about, yes, this is one of the largest investments, but it's also going to be a large tax burden as well. And my question is, so for instance, as far as flood insurance, where are we going to be 25 years from now, 30 years from now? Are we going to be underwater? That's my concern. Are we going to be prepared, or the design's going to be prepared to take on the flooding plans over the next 30, 40 years? And those are my concerns. So thank you.
Appreciate it. Thank you. I know Ralph DeChico, have your hand up.
Yes, thank you. I just wanted to thank the building committee, the school committee, for all your wise and great comments about the Wonderland site. It's been a pet peeve of mine for many, many years that I've been saying that the Wonderland site is one of the best and most applicable uses for a new high school, because of the reasoning that the old high school could be used as a future only one middle school for the city of Revere. So I acknowledge all the great comments that everyone made, and the mayor knows I've been tooting this one since as long as he can remember for the site to be there. I don't see the transportation and walkability as being much more of a burden than it is now. If not, it could be better because you'll be able to control that a little bit more with the new site. Right now, it is so crazy and dangerous for the kids walking from the Bell Circle going to the present site right now. So I think to be able to be more control and a greater planning for that. One other thing that I've been saying all along, especially if a commuter rail comes on site there's always the possibility of somebody reaching out to a great organization. And I'm going to throw it out there again, the Craft organization. We need fields. There could be a joint venture with them to also partner and buy the other parcels of land there, now that it's going to be more potentially applicable for them, that there's a commuter rail there for them to come in and do something there. So that's thinking outside the blocks, and that will bring the tax revenue back to the city. I'll give you my address, Ralph DeChico, 49 Washington Street, Revere, Massachusetts. Thank you.
Thank you, Ralph. Let's see, I'm looking around. I don't see any Zoom hands. If there's any other questions, we could go verbal here. We need name and address, please.
And actually, Steve, can you give yours just for the record? Amber's just taken the minutes and it needs to go in there.
Talking to me?
Yeah.
You talking to me? No. Steve Morabito, 122 Suffolk Avenue, Revere, Massachusetts.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Sort of a going once for any other public comment?
I just want to mention, I saw Ed Terrell put a comment in the chat, but Ed, we're not actually able to use the chat function because of the public meeting, open meeting law. So if you'd like to state your comment with your address. And it's fine to do so with a camera off. I don't know if your audio is working.
He just put in the chat, no, that's okay.
Okay, all right. So I guess we move on, Brian.
Okay, moving on from public comment. Really at this point, we're looking for a motion. I'm gonna read out what I think a motion would look like without you'd have to insert the option name, but what we're looking for is a motion to recommend selection of option X as the preferred option for further study and schematic design to the school committee and city council.
I make a motion? Motion to recommend selection of option 2AB, all new construction at Wonderland as a preferred option for further study in schematic design to the school committee and city council.
Second.
Second.
Beat you, Stacy.
No, you didn't.
I did too.
No, you didn't.
It's recorded.
Can we put a second and third by Susan and Stacy?
No.
It's a tie. We were very
only
excited
Stacy.
over this.
It's only Stacy, so it doesn't matter.
That's right. So we won't put your name.
Duly noted, second and a half motion made by Stacy and Susan.
Double motion.
Thank you.
All right, on that note, then we will do a roll call for this motion, starting with Mike Picardi,
Yes.
Mayor Arrigo,
Yes.
Stacy Rizzo,
Proudly, yes.
Susan Gravellisi,
Yes.
Dr. Kelly,
Yes.
Carl Svensson,
Yes.
John Corella,
Yes.
Jennifer Hayes,
Yes.
Rich Viscay,
Yes.
Don Ciramella,
Yes.
Nick Rystrom,
Yes.
Jerry Visconti,
Yes.
and last but not least, Patrick Keith.
Yes.
Thank you.
Congratulations. Let me be the first to throw the pun out there. Next stop, Wonderland.
Yeah. I feel like this has been such a long and stressful process. Like I feel so relieved right now.
Yeah.
Yep.
Awesome.
I agree.
Yay.
Even though the work is yet to come, but just getting to this point has been just very, very exciting, just to be on this committee from the start to the beginning.
That's actually what I was going to say, Susan. I wanted to thank you all for all the time that you've given us in these meetings and outside of these meetings. And I was going to counter that with there's more to come. This is a great decision. It is exciting. Our suggestion is that we schedule a meeting for 2 weeks from now. We're going to bring this decision to the school committee next week and the city council the following Monday. We can recap that on Thursday, you just, for the record, look, that would be Thursday, the 27th.
Nico.
And we can also lay out the next steps, do another sort of couple month look ahead and line up the hurdles that we have in front of us to get this all set. So I see a hand, Rich Biscay.
Rich, you're on mute.
Of course. Brian, could you just give us an update on the status of the first Wonderland appraisal, please?
Yeah, we're still using the same numbers. I don't think, James, sorry to put you on the spot. I don't believe we have all the backup, the whole report to us yet. And I think we'll make some calls tomorrow,
I
Rich.
mean, I get it. I just, we've been hearing that for a month now. I think we need an appraisal. So just want to try to push that agenda.
Yeah, pencils down on the appraisal. And I think he's been trying to do a lot of work with a narrative that goes along with it. So I think we just gotta get that done. Get that. We'll call him in the morning.
I mean, that's right now, that's probably the most important piece after this vote. So I think we got to start to really push on this and get a document to start to have some sensible conversation about it.
Agreed.
If sensible is a word, I don't know, Dr. Kelly, but I might have just made it up.
I use it. So, okay.
Brian,
That's what,
one question, if I may,
Sure.
in terms of
Oh, I didn't see it.
the council meeting for the 24th, and you probably said this already, do we need majority vote on the council? Is that what it is, or is it unanimous?
Majority, so we believe. I don't know of anything that would make it anything other than a majority.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Yeah, I believe it's just a simple majority, correct?
Okay. Just wanted to make sure.
Excellent. If no one else had any other business, we would again say thanks. This is feels a little anticlimactic in a way, but trust me, there's a lot of excitement to come. And I think those folks on the school that have worked a lot with us, as we really get into designing the inside of that school and how it works, I think it'll get more and more exciting for you folks. So I promise there's excitement to come. Otherwise, we're just looking for a motion to adjourn.
Can I say, sorry, I'm going to say one more thing. I just want to remind everybody that we do need the school committee vote and the city council vote in agreement with us before we get super, super excited.
Right.
If you have leverage with anyone on such committees, now would be the time to apply it.
Well, with that being said, there goes Swifty and a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All right, and we will do the last roll call of the evening. Mike McCarty,
Yes.
Mayor Arrigo,
Yes.
Stacy Rizzo,
Yes.
Susan Gravellisi,
Yes.
Dr. Kelly,
Yes.
Carl Svensson,
Yes.
John Perella,
Yes.
Jennifer Hayes,
Yes.
Rich Viscay,
Yes.
Don Cermella,
Yes.
Nick Rystrom,
Yes.
Jerry Visconti,
Yes.
and Patrick Keefe.
Yes.
Excellent. Thank you very much for your time, everyone, and for attending today's meeting. We will
Thank
see
you,
you in
everyone.
2 weeks.
Thanks. Bye.
Congrats, guys. Good job.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone, for your work.